a career dedicated to serving our community, a prosecutor who fights to protect our children and our community from violent criminals, an experienced trial attorney who knows the inside of a courtroom more than the inside of an office. Jonathan Miller has the right kind of experience to serve as common pleas judge for Lawrence County. On Tuesday, May 20th, vote Jonathan Miller for Lawrence County Judge.
At MP Coney Island, it's all about the chili and has been for nearly 100 years since we opened in 1923. We helped put Newcastle on the map as the hot dog capital of the world. Visit our store, place an order for pickup at mpconeyisland.com, delivery with DoorDash, or find the grocery store near you with our chili locator on our website. Want to own your own MP Coney Island? Now you can with our franchise system. At MP Coney Island, it's all about the chili.
Okay, we are on here. Welcome to another version of Behind the Plate. I can tell you that we're excited to be here at Frank's Card Show. His shop here in Shenango Plaza. This is a wonderful place here. This is, I mean, you got all kinds of cards here that you can purchase, people coming in. You got a golf simulator in the back, ball games are on. It's a perfect place to do this show. And we have here this afternoon, Matt Desalvo, former New York Yankee, former Major League pitcher. We got a lot to talk about with Matt. And actually, Matt, you are one of 3 big shows that we have coming on here.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, you are. We have, obviously, yourself. And then we have coming up here, we have Ziff Sistrunk, who's the bat boy of the Chicago White Sox when Chuck Tanner was the manager and Richie Allen was there. He became very, very good friends with Richie Allen. And he's generated a lot of interest, Ziff did, because he told Richie that he was going to be by his side when he gets into the Hall of Fame. And as we all know, Richie Allen passed away. Yeah. So although he could have went to the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, he's going to be at his graveside because he told me to be at his. That's pretty cool. So we're looking to have him here soon, and also we have Sid Bream's going to be on our show too, and former Pirate, former Atlanta Brave. So we're looking forward to those shows. But tonight, or to this afternoon, we're going to concentrate on Matt Desalvo's story. You know, Matt, how long has it been since you've been playing professional baseball? When was the last game?
Like professionally?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Somebody asked me that yesterday. 2017.
Is that right?
I get asked
8
to
years.
go. Yeah, I get asked to go play like one game every once in a while for.
The Washington Wild Things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to count that, but.
Sure it is.
I'm trying to think of the name. Oh, the York Revolution.
York Revolution, right.
Mason.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mace, he would call me up and say, hey, you know.
We need an arm.
It would be kind of like a situation like today, like a rain out or an independent bowl. A lot of times guys are just like, I've had it, I'm going home. And they have to fill a spot. And,
right.
And me only being 4 hours away, there's been times where Mason
they
would
call
call me up and go, hey, look, can you be in Camden or can you be in can you be over here?
And let me ask you,
game?
Those independent games, when they do that, and that's the Washington Wild Things, York Revolution, right? They get paid. What would they pay you to come over and play and pitch one game?
Honestly, I wouldn't. They would just pay for like the tolls.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, there'd just be some gas money, but it was
just that fun.
It was fun. I mean, you miss the crowd.
Yeah,
It's just, heck yeah, you want to feel important again. I think that's something where in your 20s you're greedy for money, but when you're in your late 30s or you're in the twilight year of your career, you want somebody patting you on the back. Yeah, you crave the good old days. You don't care about the money. You care about the field, the camaraderie of the players, and just the
competition.
Oh yeah,
and the competition. You know, Matt, and we're really going to get into your career here, but you know, I'm 70 years old, and that doesn't faze me. What phases me is, and I played amateur baseball for a long period of time, and I loved it. The competition. You played in the North County League with us. It was competitive at times.
Yeah.
I miss that. And, you know, you can't do it anymore. You know, you miss the camaraderie, you miss the guys, you miss somebody patting you on the back, you miss the competition of hitter and pitcher, and that never leaves you, you know. So I understand what you're saying. Even though you were at the highest pinnacle of baseball, pitching in Yankee Stadium for the New York Yankees, but if York Revolution calls you, you still want to go and play.
I'd go right now.
Right.
I mean, I would play. I'd play in the big leagues right now, even if, you know, people would think I would get crushed. I think I'm a better pitcher right now.
Well, I was going to say that, because we talked about that before we came on. Interesting enough, you know, when you pitched in the major leagues, and I made the comment, you said you throw at 89, maybe 90. but
Yeah.
you're a better pitcher today than you were when you pitched in the major leagues.
Oh, for sure.
Explain that to, like, a young guy who's a pitcher. Explain how that is. Even though you threw harder then, how would you be a better pitcher today?
Yeah, I mean, education, knowledge is power. I mean, that's the cliche phrase, but it's true. You, I don't know what kind of words I could get away with right now, but
You could say, damn.
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lay it down on you, but you know, a 20-year-old's filled with piss and vinegar.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like you're out there trying to prove that you can pretty much beat the next dude. Where now I think a lot of these guys, especially when you step outside your career and you look at, you know, from the outside, just going, oh, what could I have done better? I know for certain, like mechanically, I had no clue what I was doing. There was times like,
When you were in the major leagues?
oh yeah, I had no clue what I was doing.
Really?
I was just, here's the ball, I'm gonna throw this as hard as I can.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I see videos of me pitching, I'm just like, how did I get away with that? It was embarrassing.
No kidding.
Like I think if I had the same outings I did back then, but now with my body and like this version of me, I think I do way better.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at
Just mechanically
Greg
and
Maddux.
strategy.
Greg Maddux,
Oh, yeah.
how he pitched, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he never even, the end of his career, he didn't break 90, right?
Yeah.
But he could pitch.
Well, you look at a Glavin. Like I played with Glavin in, what was it, 08. I watched him throw bullpens. And it was just, he put a ball an inch off the plate because he wanted to.
Right.
He could look at a guy's stance, a swing, break it all down. That's all calculations that came from just in-game experience. Like I try to teach kids that I teach baseball to, pitching philosophy and strategy. And even now, like at that young age, their brain just wants to go to like what's been marketed to them. Like, oh, I just want to throw as hard as I can.
Right.
They don't understand that, hey, if you're 12 years old and you throw 58 miles an hour, which is okay, but you go stay bottom of the zone, or if an umpire gives you this far out of the zone,
Right.
like I'm going to go to that spot.
You're going to, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been times like I call sucker once, sucker twice, where if I throw you a curveball in the dirt and you swing at it, I'm going right back to it.
Yeah, right.
If you swing at it 9 times, I'll throw you no strikes.
Right.
I won't even give you something to hit in the game.
Yeah.
But back when I was in my 20s, I could have thrown a curveball in the dirt and the guy could have been screaming like, hey, I'm a sucker for this. And I'd been trying to throw a 97 by him the
Yeah.
next pitch. Just 'cause
Silly.
it's nonsensical, you know. But yeah, again, to answer your question from previous, it's mechanical. Like I understand more mechanically what I need to do, and just strategically, I know what pitches to throw when. Like
You know, I was listening to Barry Bonds, and he was on TV the other day, and he said, I don't care how hard anybody throws. Major league players don't care.
Yeah.
He said, if you look at a catcher, he's catching a 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah.
He says, so what major league hitters do, what I was thinking about was, I bat up, I catch the baseball with my bat then. He said, so if the guy can catch it, I can hit it.
yeah,
So, but a guy like you today, or Greg Maddux, they're going to mix their speeds and hit different points.
Yeah.
Where they're going to miss the bat, and they're maybe breaking 91.
yeah. The game. Again, going back to teaching kids how to pitch, it's about getting the hitter to hit the ball.
Right.
Like the riddle or puzzle I present to kids is, what's one thing that will never happen in baseball? A perfect game in 27 pitches, or a perfect game with 27 strikeouts.
Yeah.
And kids they get so confused because
Yeah,
their brain immediately goes to
27 pitches of first pitch contact.
never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Never gonna happen.
Yeah. It's first pitch contact.
Yeah, but you're gonna get somewhere in trillions of games of baseball being played. It's probable that somebody is gonna throw a perfect game where they strike out all 27,
Right.
or 20 if you're playing in a 17 game.
Yeah.
But it's more probable. Like you have to have no sense of the game of baseball to go out there as a team and a coach to let your teammates swing first pitch and a guy just gets the job done.
Yeah.
Like it's just not going to happen. But I tell kids it's more powerful to get quick outs.
Yeah, quick
Go
outs,
at
sure.
guys.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
just You know,
Yeah.
there's things in the game where I think a young guy, when it comes to ego, they think things, and they're afraid of failure, and they're afraid of what people think about them. Whereas you get older, you kind of don't give a crap, and it's just like, I got a job to go do, I'm gonna go get it done.
Well, you know, I coached high school baseball for so many years, and I used to tell the guys, just throw the ball over the plate, pitch to contact. A 400 hitter, if he hits the ball, makes 6 out of 10 outs, and there aren't too many 400 hitters over there.
No.
You know?
No.
Hey, Matt, but let's talk about it. You know, let's really face the facts here. You went from Union High School, okay? Union High School. And you went from Union High School to the College Hall of Fame. You are in the NCAA College Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And you pitched in for the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
Talk about that journey and how all that happened. I'm sure, like, if there's a young kid who has aspirations to do, because, you know, you never diminish someone's dreams, and you had that dream. I remember you in high school, and you said you wanted to pitch for the Yankees.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you did, yeah. And obviously, and I remember Jackie Zarenzik was the general manager of the Seattle Mariners. He wanted you to sign with him, remember?
I do remember that. I kind of skip into the midpoint of your question, or the timeline of my journey. I do remember being right after college. It was at the time, Marietta had never. They had always gone to a regional. We were the last team in Division 1, 2, and 3, the history of NCAA. We were the last team to not make the playoffs. Think about that.
Right.
It was my senior year.
Yeah.
We were ranked number 1 in the country.
Right.
It was Coach Shawley's last year. And usually teams that are number 1 the majority of the year get an at-large bid. It just so happened that
you didn't get one.
We didn't get it. It was
but you did your junior year, right?
Yeah, we went
because
through
you
a
did
World
pitch in the
Series.
college worlds. So okay, so you were at Union High School, and did you lose any games at high school?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah, right. But you still threw 93 in high school. You get away
I
with
don't
that.
know. My best friend Russ actually threw faster than me.
Oh, he did?
I
Russ
don't-
Edgeland did?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. His head's blowing up right now.
I mean, Russ was a strong kid, strong arm. He's the reason why I got to where I did, because we were constantly playing catch in the backyard.
Sure.
But going back to that day that I ended up signing,
They offered you full scholarship?
No.
No, they
What,
didn't?
Marietta? Or are you talking about?
Yeah, Marietta. When you went to college, you went.
No, Marietta Division III doesn't offer scholarships.
Oh, that's right. They're Division III.
Yeah, my mom actually tricked me into going there. I didn't want to go there.
Really?
I remember there was a flyer that came, and I remember Mark DeMonico was our head coach at the time.
Right.
And he handed it to me. I'm like, I was full blown set on going to the military, and I think I don't know how my mom got a hold of it, but she got a hold of it, and we ended up going to visit there. And Coach Shawley made an impression on her, and then she basically told me, "You're going here," and I go, "Yeah, whatever." And then a lot of times in our childhood, we would go to up to Erie, Presque Isle and stuff like that, and we would just jump in the car, go to Waldemere Park and stuff. Well, I didn't pay attention to where we were going. I just jumped in. They had my bags packed. He dropped me off at Marietta. I was pissed. I was very
That's an
angry.
unbelievable story.
Yeah.
But isn't that the way life works? Just think about that. You think you're going to the military and you decide to go to Marietta College. You go from Marietta College, although there's other major league pitchers that pitched Marietta.
Oh, yeah.
Kent TeColvey,
and
Terry Mulholland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you went from Marietta College to the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
And you could have went to the military and been nothing, or just a military guy, which is okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
You
of
know.
course.
So when you're in Marietta, did you start all 4 years?
I did, yeah. As a freshman, I was our number 3.
You were.
Yeah, we had a guy named David Bradley, who was our number 1. He ended up signing as a senior. So when I was a freshman, he was a senior. He signed. He got drafted pretty high. I feel like he was like a 5th rounder or something like that. That's back when the draft was like 52 rounds.
Right. Yeah, I remember those
And
days.
he signed with the Reds, and I think he did well. I mean, he didn't make it to the big leagues, but he did well in the minors. And then there was Chris Burley, who ended up, he was a junior when I was a freshman, and he was a 90-mile-an-hour guy, good, one of the best curveballs I ever seen. And he went and played independent ball.
Oh, he did?
And then I think,
He didn't get drafted?
no, he
No.
no.
Yeah. So, okay, so you set a number of collegiate records.
Yeah.
You did, and because obviously you are in the college NCAA Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Which is a hell of a achievement.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, yeah.
That's pretty cool,
Yeah.
you know. And I remember you got inducted. You're in the Lawrence County Hall of Fame too.
Yeah.
But the NCAA College Hall of Fame you're in, and I know this makes you uncomfortable, but you put up some really impressive statistics. I believe you still hold some NCAA records. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know if it's going to come across as conceited, but I just don't know if they'll ever get broken because they don't, like Marietta, we packed in as many games as possible.
Right.
And with like COVID years and stuff like that, like kids able to play 5-6 years. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if those numbers will get broken if they haven't been broken yet.
Yeah, if they are.
I'm just going on, I mean, it's just, again, back to probability. I mean,
but it still propelled you into the College Hall of Fame. So
Yeah.
talk about it. What was your record? And I can remember one time, if I'm not accurate, I may be accurate here. You're in the College World Series, the first guy doubles, you step off the mound, next thing you know, you retired 27 in a row. Is that accurate? Let's talk about that.
it was, that's funny. I'm trying to think of what actually happened. I think, well, the set up the story when I was a freshman, David Bradley, the kid that I told you, he was the senior that threw hard. He got drafted by the Reds. I want to say we were like 57-3 my freshman year.
Him?
No.
Oh, the team.
The team.
Yeah.
We were like off the charts, #1, smack you in the face. Like, didn't matter. We were that good. And obviously some of the stuff is going to be historically inaccurate, but this is how my brain remembers it. Mm-hmm. So we lose, he gets a cold. So he loses he was sick, but he
You're a
pitched.
freshman or sophomore?
I'm a freshman. We're going in. Dave Bradley gets sick. He loses 1-0. He's an All-American and everything, but he just unfortunately gets sick right before the game. But he pitches, still does well. We lose like 1-0. Chris Burley pitches game 2. We win. We get to second game of the losers bracket. I come up and I'm pitching against North Carolina Wesleyan. And if I remember correctly, they used wood. Something happened in their conference where somebody got hurt really badly, and they went to wood for a year. And they started using metal in the World Series. And I tell you, the first 8 hitters hit laser beams back up the middle off me. Because I was a fastball slider guy. I didn't know any better.
No,
I was an 85-mile-an-hour fastball.
And these weren't BB core bats, right? These were like -5s, right?
These were. So I gave up like 6-7 runs in 3 innings. We ended up losing. Mm-hmm. And fast forward 2 years later, we're in the World Series. We're in the game 1. I'm a first-team All-American, pitcher of the year at the time. And we're facing another guy, I think, that was in the running for pitcher of the year. So he was a good arm.
What was the school you pitched against?
What was that? It was Salisbury State. Uh-huh. They were pretty good. We were ranked #1 in the country again. And I mean, they came to play. Salisbury State came to play. So the first inning, I mean, I'm throwing 95, 97.
Yeah, I know.
For Division III. And,
Yeah.
and a lot of the times I would step into games and I would just do whatever I wanted to. And base hit over the first baseman's head. I'm thinking, okay. And then the next guy, base hit, and I'm thinking,
this
okay.
isn't going to happen again.
Yes. So then I walk the next guy. So it's bases loaded, no out. The place is going crazy. And this is where I turned around and basically told myself, this isn't happening. I'm not going to let this happen again. And I punched out 19.
In a row?
It was 19 over whatever, 9 innings. Yeah.
You struck out 19 in a row?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, I want to emphasize that.
You know how history goes. It's not what actually happens, it's what people remember it as.
Yeah, but listen to me.
Yeah.
You struck out 19.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I should have struck out more, but it's just there's things where I would piss Coach Shawley off because I'd fiddle around with guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was no.
Well,
let
me ask you that.
There's no expectation in my mind other than this hitter's there and I'm trying to strike him out.
Yeah. And well, the two things to that. first of all, Coach Shelley, who was the head coach there, he was a legendary coach.
Oh, yeah, of course.
There. And I'm sure he had a lot of connections to Major League Scouts.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah. And also, at that game, were there Major League Scouts there?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I didn't really look in the stands.
I bet you were focused.
I'm so oblivious to things that
I know
most
you are.
people notice.
Yeah, I know you are. But what's so interesting here is that there was probably scouts there.
Possibly.
And
Yeah, my junior year.
striking out 19 in a row,
Yeah.
that's going to raise a lot of eyebrows.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's, and that was your sophomore year?
Yeah, the only thing I would maybe say to that is back then Division III was not respected. Where nowadays you can go to the Ohio Athletic Conference and you may find 2-3 guys that have potential like professional arms.
Yeah.
If not more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So especially with the portal and just the dynamics of college baseball now, you have power arms in Division III.
Here's the thing in that, and my mind's moving here. In those days, not everybody threw 97. There's a lot of guys, but not like today.
And not like the small size I am.
Yeah, that's right. What'd you weigh, about 170, 160 at that time?
In college, yeah, I remember the Yankees telling me I had to be 185 and I never could get there.
Yeah,
I just
couldn't get
recently was able to.
Yeah.
Think of a 40-year-old man or mid-40s,
Well, yeah.
metabolism.
Slows down.
Yeah.
But, okay, did you get drafted your junior year or after your senior year?
I actually didn't get drafted.
Oh, you went free agent.
I signed as a free agent.
Yeah, you signed as a free agent. After your senior year, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so your junior year, were you as successful as a pitcher at college at Marietta as you were as your sophomore year?
Yeah, I progressively got better. My junior year, Mark Pryor was the big guy.
Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, he struck out, I think, 210 that year. I struck out around that same number. But again, he's doing it against D1 guys, and I'm doing it against Division III guys. You can call it what it is, but numbers-wise, by no means am I saying I'm as good as Pryor, but like, I didn't get drafted at all. I didn't even get looked at. I remember going home. My pitching coach at Marietta said, he's like, "Hey, you're probably going to go on the first day. You're probably going to go in the top 5 rounds." And he was telling me I should get this much money. I think he was telling me I should get about $100,000. And I don't remember the exact time the draft lasted till, but I remember there still being like 2-3 hours before the draft. And this is back before cell phones, mind you. I mean, cell phones were kind of just getting like implemented into society.
Yeah. What year is this, man?
This is 03. And we had a landline. I grew up poor. I mean, not poor, but
Yeah,
we wouldn't have had a cell phone.
Yeah, right.
So I was sitting at home waiting for the phone to ring on the landline. I remember just getting tired, going, "Yeah, I'm not getting drafted. I'm out of here."
Right.
That's how it happened.
Yeah, that's how you thought, right? And
Yeah,
that was your junior year.
Yep.
Okay,
and
so
also that summer, my catcher from Marietta called me up and said, "Hey, we had an arm go down on our summer league. Would you like to come play?" And I go, "No, absolutely not." He's like, "Come, we'll fish, we'll hang out, we'll chase girls." I was like, "Okay, yeah, let's do it. I'm not going to stay home."
Yeah.
So I went out there, and 2 weeks into the season, the Orioles offered me $30,000 to go play. But we had just lost the national championship, and I made my decision, fishing and hanging out.
Oh, so you said no to the Orioles?
I said no to the Orioles.
After your junior year?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Because
that.
they didn't think I could get Division I hitters out. Well, we went to, there was this team called Northern Ohio. It was a guy who owned a huge, what was it called? Like a moving company, and the guy would bring people in from like Pepperdine and all these California and Texas teams, and this team would smash everybody. And I pitched against them, and I dominated them.
Oh, yeah?
Dominated them. And
In that
everyone's
summer
like,
league that
Oh, yeah, everyone's
What
like, "Who the
city?
heck
Were
is
you in
this guy?"
Ohio?
Yeah, I played for the Delaware Cows. I'm in their
gotcha.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
If
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But hey, if you think about this, today with the NIL, after the
Oh, yeah.
season that you had, you could have transferred to the D1
Yeah.
school and made money in college.
Yeah, this is something where
Today.
I find it's going to be slightly comical because you probably have an outline for this, and we're probably not even going to come close to sticking to it, because that leads to another story, because there's just so many things that people don't know about me, or I just kind of.
That's why you're here. That's why you're here.
what was it, Connie Mack. So I was young. I was 17 in college. And
Oh, really? You
yeah.
graduated high school at 17 then?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the Astro Falcons over in Youngstown had I don't want to call it a travel team, but it was something where they did a national team.
Yeah.
And I played for Fabulous Goldsteins, and they just called me up one day and said, hey, would you like to come pitch for us? And, you know, my mom basically told me, like, look, we don't have any money. And he's like, no, don't worry about it, everything's taken care of, because Bob Steen was still alive, and
Yeah.
he took care of it. But we had some kids from like Florida and some Youngstown.
I remember
guys.
those teams. Yeah, sure.
So we ended up going to the Connie Mack World Series, and I pitched against East Cobb, who was supposed to be the best team in the country, and I shut him down.
Yeah.
Like,
And you were only 17 then?
well, I had just turned 18,
Oh,
and I had a full year of college, so everyone at this tournament was all
I see.
D1.
Yeah,
all
but-
D1 commits,
yeah, right.
scholarship money, and here I was a freshman. I just finished my freshman year.
Right.
And so I pitched against East Cobb, and after the game, LSU and Texas A&M wanted me to transfer.
I was going to
Marietta.
ask you that, yeah.
So I remember talking to Coach Zarilla, and he says, Matty,
From which school?
from the Astros. But he was talking to me away from these guys, and he said, look, he's like, you're established at Marietta. And I don't even think the Marietta people ever heard about this. Because I think people would probably look at me and go, you turned down LSU to go back to Marietta. But the reason I did was because I was established at Marietta, which I agreed with Zarilla. But also, it was told to me that my sophomore year I was going to have to go to a JUCO and then transfer in my junior year. And he said, during your junior year, you may get some innings, and then your senior year, you'll really establish yourself in it, whatever. And I thought, you know what, I want to play.
Yeah, right.
Because I was, again, like I said, my teenage brain was thinking, well, I was full blown on going to the military, and now all of a sudden, like, I didn't realize I was this good at baseball.
Yeah.
And now, my velocity was starting to tick up at that point, and that's when I started believing, like, oh crap, I actually could do this. So,
Yeah, it's interesting. And so then, obviously, then you stayed at Marietta, and
Yes.
you went into your senior year.
yeah,
And how was that? You were the number one guy then, right?
like ace on the staff.
Yeah.
I was the ace of my sophomore year.
By your sophomore year?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I was throwing my first pitch of my sophomore year was 95.
Is that right?
Yeah, after I got pretty much my ass handed to me in that World Series game against North Carolina Wesleyan, I was talking to our DH, his name was Shepard, and his dad was a physiologist, and I asked him, I'd like to throw 90 someday, do you think I can? He's like, why don't you, anyone at this level, if you work hard enough, you can. I'm like, okay, cool. And I asked him some things, and he gave me some advice, and I went, and I murdered everything that he gave me. I did it above and beyond. So when Marietta had lifting program, I went and lifted on my own, and then I lifted with the team. I threw weighted baseballs, which I have my own like little weighted ball program that I created.
Sure.
And with the goal of, I was hoping to throw 90. So we are facing my sophomore year. I don't know who we were facing, but my roommate was a baseball player too. And I throw my first pitch in spring training down in Panama City at Gulf Coast Community College.
Yeah.
And everyone's jumping around in the background. I'm like, what the heck? But I mean, I'm throwing this ball. The ball's in the mitt. And
They got you on the radar, but
Yeah.
you're not paying that attention.
So
Yeah.
these dudes are swinging. The ball is in the mitt.
Yeah.
And everyone's going crazy. So I strike out the side, and I go jogging off the field. And my roommate comes running up. He goes, "Oh, dude, what'd you hit?" And I go, "Oh, did I hit 90?" He's like, "You hit 95." Really? Yeah. So like that's when. And then I started reaching back, and I started popping 96s and 97s. And,
Yeah.
it was one of those things where it was a really cool experience to jump that high, that fast.
Yeah.
Jumping
So,
8 to
and the
9
fact that
miles
you
an
didn't
hour.
get, but were you upset when you did not get drafted after your junior year?
Yes and no, because again, I didn't understand. It's not like I came from like a pedigree where like my father or like a family member was a professional. There was no, like, the most I ever understood about that big league baseball world was reading Baseball America every once in a while. I'd pick up a magazine.
Yeah.
And then I get really, really jealous because so-and-so high school kid was on the front cover, supposed to be the first rounder, and he threw 97 or 100. You know, it was one of those things where I wanted to be that, but what it took to get there, I had no clue.
Yeah. And so your senior year then, you obviously you had a good year your senior year as well.
Yeah, I did.
Even though you guys didn't get to the playoffs, right?
we didn't, not to be insulting about the team back then, but we didn't have the team that we did. It's hard. We had arguably the best offensive team in Division III history for my sophomore and junior year. Like Jay Coakley, who he should be in the College Baseball Hall of Fame too. He's averaging like 25 home runs a year for four years that he was there. I mean, Kent DeColvey's son, Chris DeColvey, who's now the assistant coach at Marietta. Like, I mean, he was hitting balls to the top of the light post. Like, we had 7 guys in the lineup that could hit a home run at any time.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were beating. I remember when we beat LaRoche 48-0.
48-0.
We were smashing teams. It wasn't even like. Yeah,
that's
we
ridiculous.
were smashing teams.
Okay,
it was one of those
And what was your
things
record your senior year?
I have no. Oh, my pitching record?
Yeah.
No clue. Probably like 15-1, maybe 15-2,
right? Something
like that. Yeah.
So then after your senior year ends, did you think you were going to get drafted again?
No, I thought. So basically, I thought that I was going to go to Italy and play. I thought I was going to go play a year or two in Italy and then pretty much ultimately go back and try to do the military thing.
Yeah. And then how did the free agent contract end up with the New York Yankees? How'd that happen?
So all of these teams would come up to me before my games or after my games in college, my junior year and senior year, and would basically ask me to fill out a questionnaire. That's usually what happens. Nowadays, you fill out one questionnaire online because I've had less than kids get drafted. And they basically, I had to fill out a paper for each team, you know, and the big thing was, hey, call us whenever your season ends. Because everyone's expecting us to go to the World Series again.
Yeah, sure.
So they're like, look, we don't want to, if your season ends before the draft, great, give us a call, we'll try to do something beforehand. And we end up getting eliminated. And I remember sitting down, we got back from, it was Heidelberg. Heidelberg won the conference that year, so they held the tournament. So we all met, like we went to Heidelberg, lost, we came back, and I called all 17 teams that night with my pitching coach. And then
you called all 17
teams and said, hey, you know, this is what it was. Like I remember I called the Reds first. The guy seemed the most interested. He said, we'll give you $1,000 and fly you down to spring training.
$1,000.
$1,000. And I said, well, I owe $53,000 in school loans. That's what I'm hoping to get. That was my number. $53,000. Get me my school paid for it.
Sure.
Because back then, $53,000 to a college kid, that's
a lot of money.
Insurmountable amount of debt.
That's a lot of money.
You know, and but anyway, so I called each team, and it started at 1,000. Called, you know, whatever, I don't remember the next team, but whatever the next team was, hey, you know, the Reds just offered me 1,000. Okay, we'll give you 2,500. You know, and it just climbed up, and it ended up being between the Brewers and the Yankees. They were both at $30,000, and the Yankees offered me an incentive program where if I get to Double-A, I get another 2,500. Triple-A, I get $5,000. Big leagues, I get 10 more grand. Mm-hmm. And which I ended up getting.
So it was the $30,000 was a signing bonus.
Yeah, I got $30,000 signing bonus
for the Yankees.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So you signed with the Yankees.
Signed with the Yankees.
Yeah. And where'd they send you? You went to rookie league ball?
Oh yeah, I learned how insignificant I was because so they put me in a hotel right along the causeway that goes between Tampa Bay and Clearwater.
You're playing in the rookie league area.
Rookie, like they sent me down to rookie league,
right?
And nobody knew who I was. I just kept showing up. And I remember the one trainer. He goes, I don't want to be a jerk, but who are you? And I go, oh, I signed with so-and-so, and I had the scout's name, and he called the scout, and he's like, hey, what are we supposed to do? And then they had no clue who I was.
The rookie league team.
Yeah, they're like, just in general, the like Tampa Bay where everyone goes.
Yeah.
So, so no one knew who I was. I had no food or no money, no nothing. Again, I came from nothing.
Right.
And we staying in the hotel. I had my own room, so I just heard a lot of people speaking Spanish. So I just started following them down to this like cafeteria area, and I saw everyone wearing New York Yankees stuff. So I assumed that's where I should go. And they were all like Dominicans and Venezuelans who didn't speak English. So I
Is this
sat
during
there.
spring training?
No, this is like
During the season.
This is that after spring training, the guys that don't get assigned to like single A, short season, single A, or any of those.
You go to rookie league.
You stay in. They call it extended spring training. So I was in extended spring training before. Now the draft would then happen. And then guys would get assigned to, okay, you're going to go to Staten Island, you're going to go to the short season A,
Yeah.
Or the rookie league or whatever.
So they just push. Go to rookie league.
Well, they just put me here. They said, hey, your flight's here. I get on a flight, I show up in Tampa, someone picks me up, brings me to the hotel and says somebody will get a hold of you. Phone never rang, nothing, I just figured it out.
Okay.
And basically they're like, who are you? And
Yeah.
I go, oh, I got signed by you guys. I think I'm supposed to be here. And then they had to do some searching. If you know me well enough, you know exactly that's how it would go for my personality.
I know you well enough, and I know exactly. So, Matt, so obviously you're on the team, right? So you show up at the game, right?
Well, there's no one game everyone shows up to, like, just this big clubhouse. In spring training, in minor league spring training, there's 200 guys there.
Oh, wow.
So it's this vast, just seemingly endless locker room, right? It would echo. It was so big. So I had my locker away from everybody because I was the new guy. They were expecting all the draftees to come in, and it was still like 10 days before the draft.
Wow.
So I was just sitting there. I would go and throw bullpens. I would run with everybody,
And then, well, obviously after that was over, you have to play, correct?
yeah, I didn't actually.
You're assigned to a team.
Yeah, I think they let me play. Obviously I had to get my physical and all that stuff, and I did play, but it took a good week before I played. But I did pitch for, like a lot of the organizations that have their spring training in Florida. That was their headquarters. Like we would play in Dunedin, we would play Toronto. Clearwater were the Phillies.
Yeah.
We would play those type of teams.
Yeah, that's rookie league ball.
Yeah, it
Gulf
would
Coast
be.
rookie league ball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and would you play Steinbrenner Field? Is that what it was? Oh no, you played at Lang, huh?
The Steinbrenner Field was the high A. That was the Grapefruit League.
Yeah.
The Grapefruit League is what they called the spring training. I can't remember, Florida State League is what
Yeah.
they called it.
Did you play at St. Pete at Lang?
I did.
Oh, at Lang, that was your home field.
No. Our home field they called it Legends,
Oh, Legends
which
Field.
is now Steinbrenner Field.
Okay, so that was rookie league ball. Did you play 1 year at rookie league ball?
No, I didn't play any. Well, I guess I pitched like a handful of games. That's it.
Yeah.
My first year, I went to Staten Island, and then I got promoted that same year to Battle Creek, Michigan, which was long season.
Wait a minute, your very first year, they moved you to Staten Island? Is that single A?
That was short season A. That's where all the draft picks went.
Okay.
And we had like the worst team in minor league history. We won maybe 20-some games before I got pushed up.
And how'd you pitch here?
I pitched well.
Yeah.
My wins and losses weren't great because the team, from what I remember, we had a lot of young guys, and I don't know what happened. We just didn't win.
Right.
And and then I got promoted to Battle Creek, which was long season A. That was like your normal. The guys that got drafted the previous year, most of them got either released or they got promoted to Battle Creek.
Battle Creek. Yeah. And how long did you pitch in Battle Creek?
I only pitched 3 or 4 games there, and I think I won every one. And then the next year I started in High A.
High A.
Which is Tampa.
Yeah.
Which would be at
Tampa
Steinbrenner
Yankees,
Field, yeah.
right. And you pitched there for a full year?
No, I only stayed there for 2 months, and I got promoted to Double A.
Double A.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
You had to
next
really
year-
throw up some numbers. You had to be throwing 94, 95.
Yeah, I mean, my year rate.
I mean,
is
for
like
them to
one-
move you up that fast, I mean, you're a
Yeah.
free agent signing, right?
Yeah, I was a nobody, especially
Yeah.
being Division III. I mean, people didn't respect. I mean,
Right.
I don't want to say that because I'm putting words in people's mouth, but back then when you saw or heard about a small Division III guy, you're like,
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
What's this guy going to be able to do?
But you know what, though, Matt? They're moving you up fast.
Yeah, I was on the fast track.
Yeah. So then you're in Double A. Which team was that?
That was Trenton Thunder.
Trenton. And how long do you pitch here?
I pitched basically, well, that's a trickier question because I pitched the, I can't remember the year, but I pitched like 3 games and then I hurt my back and they sent me home. So then the next season I pitched the whole season, became an all-star and was like really, really good. And then the next year they put me to AAA.
Triple A. With who?
And
Who's
then
that?
I got demoted because I had a really bad like beginning of the season. I was actually supposed to break camp with the Yankees, and I pretty much just crapped the bed.
Is that right?
And then I got demoted to Double A, and then the next year I went to Triple A.
Triple A.
Made it to the big leagues.
And then when you were Triple A, what team were you with? What was
That was
your-
Columbus. That was
Oh, yeah, Columbus. Clippers? Is it the Clippers? Yeah. And how long were you there?
I was there for less than a year.
Okay, so, and during the season, did they call you up? How did that work? Or did they
Like,
wait?
how did I get called up?
Yeah, were you in their season or AAA season, or was it, did they just wait till the year was over and just say, hey, come to Major
No,
League
I
Camp?
didn't get September called up. I mean, I was there, but I'll answer that 2 ways. Most people, from what I understand, get called up by, the manager calls you in the office and goes, hey, you got called up, you're gonna go pitch in however many days from now, and you are going to, you need to go get a suit, you need to, whatever, and just get you prepared. Mine was, I was in Syracuse in AAA, and I just pitched like 2 days prior, I believe it was. Excuse me. And we had just got out of batting practice, and I had 2 messages from New York media saying, we want a quote from you, basically saying, congratulations on getting called up. And I'm like,
What?
like what? What's this? So I go into the office with the manager. And
Yeah,
pitching
who's the
coach.
manager at the time? Do you remember his name?
Yes, the manager was, I think, Billy Massey, and then Dave Island, both outstanding coaches.
Dave Island, I think, coached in a big team.
Yeah, he was the pitching coach with the Yankees for a
Right.
year, and then I think he was with the Royals when they won the World Series.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember his
But
name.
he's a good guy.
So they called you in the
I
office
wasn't the easiest kid to coach because I was too analytical, and there were certain things that I know for sure that if my version of me right now went back and talked to my 27-year-old version of me, I'd be like, go fly a kite, even though it was correct. I know for certain they were giving me the greatest information possible to succeed, but it was the whole, I'm going to throw this ball by you mentality.
Yeah.
But I also think that they respected that because I was such a little punk. I mean, I was the little guy, But anyway,
You walk into their office.
I go in the office, I go, hey, look, I don't know what's going on, but and I let them listen to the voicemail,
Yeah.
and they're like, okay, well, we were going to try to, nothing's for certain. You may or you may not get called up. You need to be prepared for your next start here with us, but there's a chance that you may be pitching in 2 days
At Yankee Stadium.
at Yankee Stadium. Because the Yankees
That's pretty cool.
Of course, again, it wouldn't be normal for me because of my personality. You know how this just fits right in for me.
But
So-
let me ask you, when they did that take your breath away for a second when they said that?
No, I don't
You
know
just
why.
weren't fazed by that, huh?
No, because it wasn't a reality yet. And, you just, as a professional athlete, you face failures quite often, and quite literally every day you fail.
Yeah.
And you learn to not get attached to certain things. So you just, I guess, you learn to go, okay, this is cool if it happens.
Right.
If not, whatever.
Yeah.
It honestly helped me with girls going through, the minor leagues. It was hard because, women in their late 20s, not to make this the theme, but like you know, whether it's baseball, girls wanting to get married or like date and stuff, is almost like a, hey, here's what it is. I'm in town for this amount of time, and then I got spring training, or I'm gone.
And you're gone.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times where, you know, but anyway, or just like normal everyday things, like I owned a house. If things are going wrong with the house, there's a certain point, and once I go to spring training, I don't give that house can burn down.
Yeah,
it's
right.
nothing to do with me anymore.
Focus.
So there's a thing where if I'm at Syracuse and I have to make my start in 2 days, I got to make my start in 2 days. I got to do what I got to do here. Yeah, it's cool if that's in Yankee Stadium, but as far as I'm concerned, it's not a sure thing, so I can't assume.
So how did that end up then? You did get called?
It was like 10 o'clock at night, and they said, hey, you need your flight's tomorrow. And I didn't have a suit. Again, like...
Your flight's tomorrow.
My flight's tomorrow morning.
Your flight's tomorrow. And
So-
you're going to be at Yankee Stadium.
So luckily, I mean, the Desalvo is my... I think there's 17 or 18 first uncles and aunts that I have. So my one uncle, Bill Desalvo, who helped me out tremendously.
Insurance agent, right?
He is an insurance agent.
I know Bill.
He's a manager for years. Great guy. Taught me a lot. He knew somebody in Syracuse who knew somebody who owned a tux place. So I bought a tux for $500.
Not a tux, you mean a suit.
A suit, yeah.
You're not that big of a hillbilly.
You can tell that I don't dress up well. So I get on, I get my suit at like 11 o'clock at night. That didn't fit me, by the way.
It was too big.
Yeah, A-Rod, I remember him going to me going, like,
dude,
what is this? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, and again, like, my friends always were in awe of the fact that I'm like, I don't know who anybody is.
I know that.
Like, I'd be pitching in the minor leagues, and my buddy Nick, who's a big, baseball card, like, he would love this place. But he'd go, hey, you know who you pitched against today? I go, no, who? Oh, you pitched against Frank Thompson. I go, oh yeah.
Frank Thomas,
Or
the big train.
There's another guy who was a big Red Sox.
The Big Hurt, not the Big Train, the Big Hurt.
No. I'm saying there's another big, like, player.
They were down from rehab, right.
I'm not going to know who it is. Yeah. I'm not going to try to remember the name. But he's like, hey, you pitched against so-and-so, and you got him out twice. I go, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you don't know who had no idea.
Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
like,
you had no idea.
To me, it's just
a
person in a uniform.
That could have been maybe part of your success because you weren't intimidated by that.
For sure.
It's just another guy.
For sure.
The bat. But you have to think about this. Now, overnight, now Jorge Posada's my catcher. Derek Jeter's my shortstop.
Yeah.
A-Rod's my third baseman.
Yeah.
I mean, that list goes on and on and on. And it's overnight. And you're from Union High School. So let's put that in perspective. So you get into Yankee Stadium, correct?
Yeah.
What's that like? I mean, there's kids out there that would dream to be in Yankee Stadium. They dream about it. You did it.
Yeah, it was more interesting to get some of the answers, like just learn the lifestyle and see what it was actually like to be a big leaguer, which is pretty cool. More than like, oh wow, like.
You couldn't show that it phased you. Is that what you're saying?
No, I guess I never had that. Like, oh wow, like it's not that. I think I was more of a overly analytical person and mathematical than an emotional person. So, to me, I don't have that like, oh wow, like someone gives me a gift, I don't go, oh wow, this means so much to me. I'm like, thank you. And this is very practical. Thank you. This will do this.
Yeah.
This will do that.
And when you went there, you weren't pitching the next day, were you?
So I flew in, and I actually had to pitch the day that I flew in.
Oh, you did?
So again, it wasn't your traditional call up. So I go to the hotel, and it was a doubleheader.
Yeah.
And Keigawa, who the Yankees had spent a like mind-numbing amount of money to acquire. He was pitching, but he wasn't throwing well. And he's a really nice guy, so I'm not trying to say anything bad. He's a really cool dude. We were actually, when we were in the bullpen throughout the year, we would talk and like try to communicate. He tried to teach me Spanish. He showed me or it's not Spanish, he would teach
Japanese.
me Japanese. He actually showed me, I don't know the name anymore, but the Japanese version of chess.
Oh, is that right?
Really cool. Yeah, but anyway, sidetracking. But, so I'm in the hotel. Keigawa, I'm not allowed in the stadium till Keigawa gets his papers and gets sent down to AAA.
That's right. Yeah, because it's
And it's
the
rush
roster,
hour
right?
in New York
yeah.
City.
Yeah.
So there's a black Mercedes limousine waiting for me. So as soon as the game ends, Yankees call, get downstairs, limo's going to be there, boom, I just get to the stadium. Everyone's throwing clothes at me, guys are coming over to congratulate me, good luck today. I remember walking out to, I'm in uniform now, like I don't even have my locker set up, it's, you got to go, like let's go.
And anybody listening to this is your first game.
Yeah.
And it's on national TV.
What's Sunday night baseball?
Yeah, it was,
Sunday night baseball?
it was Sunday
I
night
don't know.
baseball. It was national TV, and it was against the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah.
Because you know why? I had all the guys you play with in the
Yeah.
North County League. We were at my house
Okay.
watching your Major League debut.
That's pretty
And the
funny.
Newcastle News was there.
What were they?
They were there, just getting our reaction with you.
Yeah.
Right. So tell us about what that was like, what you experienced.
So I walk into the dugout, and Billy Crystal's there. and mind you, I had no clue who he was.
Really?
I had no clue who he was, which is funny because I never seen I'm not a movie guy. I'm a book guy. So he goes, Matt.
You got no clue who he is.
Nah, I mean I figured he was somebody important because he's sitting in there.
He's in the Yankee locker room.
Yeah, he's in the club or in the dugout. And he shakes my hand. He goes, "Hey, good luck today." And I go, "Thank you." And I go jogging out to the outfield, and I think he's probably kind of like strange interaction, but I leave everybody with that. So I'm playing catch in the outfield. The stadium's not filled. They empty the stadium on double headers, and then they reopen the gates. So people are starting to trickle in. There's 10, 20,000 fans. I'm playing catch. And then I'm just going to abbreviate this. So I get in the bullpen. I'm not nervous. I'm like, okay, it's just I got to do my thing. I'm throwing in the bullpen, get the job done. Okay, I'm feeling good. Come out, jog all the way into the dugout.
Is your family in the stands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's there.
Yeah.
And we have to wait for Jeter to take the field. And I don't know what happened, but I know Jeter took the field and everyone took the field, so I'm out there and I throw my warm-ups. And the umpire comes up to me, he goes, again, knowing my personality,
Right.
I would not do things right.
Yeah.
So there's still 10 minutes till game time. And the umpire comes up and he goes, "Hey, look, good luck today, but I just want to let you know you have quite a bit to wait." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You'll know." And he points up at the batter's eye. He says, "When all those lights turn on, you'll know it's game time." And I'm like,
Because
"Okay."
it's on national TV.
Yeah. So, so we're sitting there and we're just BSing and whatever.
You're talking with the
it's-
umpire.
Yeah, and I'm not nervous yet.
Yeah.
I'm just chilling. Okay, cool. Yeah, blah blah blah. And then all these lights, 100 lights, turn on. It looked like an alien, bug eye, just 1,000 red dots.
The center field
Yeah.
light. The center-
And he's like, "All right, here we go." And I throw 1 or 2 warm-ups. They throw it down, and it didn't hit me until Ichiro went like this. And I crapped my pants. And you could tell, if you look at the first two pitches went 40 feet.
Yeah, you bounced him.
And then,
He doubles off of you, doesn't he?
yeah, he does. So I remember kind of what I did in the World Series. I remember stopping and going, okay, don't be a guy who gets 1 inning, doesn't get out of it, and then he's never back up. So I'm like, I'm going to stay back, and I'm just going to throw this ball as hard as I can down the middle. Double down the line. I'm thinking, oh, crap, here we
Right.
go.
But
But then
it's
I end up settling down. I
You
think
did.
they only got 1 more hit through, 7 innings?
Yeah, through 7 innings. Yeah. You got a no decision that game, I believe, because they
Yeah.
ended up coming back and
Yeah.
winning, but it wasn't your loss. You threw very well for 7 innings.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a different story if, one, the Yankees aren't in second place. I don't know the history because as you listen to this, I'm not somebody who pays attention to this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I believe the Yankees, it was the first time they weren't number one in the East in, I bet you, a decade.
Yeah, right.
So there was a lot of, I came into a Yankee locker room that had a tremendous amount of stress to it. Because the Red Sox,
right?
yeah, the Red Sox were likely going to, which ended up winning the East. And there's a lot of media attention on why this like high caliber team was not winning.
Yeah.
So there was a shorter leash, I feel, than if the team was, winning. And it's nothing against Joe Torre. Again, great dude, gave me tremendous opportunities. But I think
was going to ask you about that. How do you like playing for Joe Torre?
Yeah, I mean, I got to play for all of the Hall of Fame guys. Think of it, I played for Joe Torre and Bobby Cox.
Right. That's right. Yeah, because you ended up playing with Atlanta Braves, too.
And I grew up like in the Pirates, and I hated the Braves growing up.
Right.
I hated them.
Right.
Just, again, you're about to have Sid Bream. I hated, the Pittsburgh mentality of not liking Sid Bream because he was a traitor. And then he scored the run and knocked the Pirates out of the whatever year that was.
Yeah.
That was heartbreaking, yeah.
Yeah.
And then here I am. My brother used to pick on me so bad because he was a Braves fan and I was a Pirates fan.
Yes.
And
and how many years you played with the Yankees? 2, right?
in the big leagues?
Yeah.
Just the one. The next year I played with the Braves in the
You
big
played
leagues.
with the Braves,
Yeah.
and you played. Compare, both of them are Hall of Fame managers. Compare Joe Torre and Bobby Cox. Can you do that? Is that possible?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going
Their
to give
approach.
Bobby Cox an unfair analysis because I feel like the Yankees, I grew up with the Yankees, like in my minor league, it was home. You know what I mean? The Yankees were home. And you knew more about the manager. There was a culture to it where when you're a free agent, you just come into the Braves. It's a different. You're from the outside looking in, and you're trying to learn the ways. But Bobby Cox was more kind of to himself and get the job done type of, if you want to call him a boss. Where Joe Torre was a little more like motivational. Hey, get this done. Here's how we're going to do this. This is the Yankee way. This is how you act. This is how you do this. There's a lot more like teaching involved.
Right.
But again, I just, it is pretty cool to, I look back at my career. There's a lot of people who have similar amount of time in the big leagues as me. And for some reason, I feel like people put too much emphasis on me and like, make me a little more important than I am, I think.
Well,
But,
and that's who you always were, Mac. Obviously, you're the most humble guy I know. But I think what you miss, and if I could be so have enough cajuns to say this,
Yeah.
I think what you miss is that every single baseball player out there dreams about playing for the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
And nobody can do that. But you did.
yeah.
But you did. I mean, you pitched for the New York Yankees.
Yeah, it's
That's such an achievement and accomplishment athletically. It doesn't define who you are, but it says something about your persistence and your determination. And that's not easy to do. It's
Yeah, I mean,
just
the
so
Yankees.
hard.
The Yankees have that brand, that name that most people are gonna affiliate with. Oh, you must have been really good to play for the Yankees. Where if it's you played for the Marlins, maybe not so. But I mean, it's an illogical statement, but it is something. Again, it's not what actually is. It's what people perceive.
Yeah, well, anybody who makes the major leagues, is at a level that is just that's incredible.
Yeah.
And think about it. In our area, let's just talk about Newcastle. In our area, the only ones in Newcastle who's made the major leagues has been Richie Allen, yourself, Chuck Tanner.
Yeah.
Chuck Tanner, Bruce Tanner, his son. Other than that, and
There's quite a few for such a small town.
yeah,
too.
it is. Chet Boak, I believe, back in the 40s, Leonard Matarazzo, they all had coffee in the major leagues. But heck yeah, you were there you were there, man.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So, and your journey was peppered with playing in Korea and also in
Japan and Taiwan.
Yeah,
And in
that's
Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and
so.
Dominican.
But hey, we can do this all night,
Oh yeah.
We could do this all night, and I can't tell you how much that I appreciate you coming on. If any of the kids are out there dreaming of ever playing in the major leagues, the work that it takes, and you got to be lucky too. You got to be lucky,
a ton of luck.
and you got to be good.
Yeah.
And now you're teaching the game.
Yeah, I teach baseball.
Yeah, you teach. You have your own group of guys that you teach.
Yeah, I'm kind of underground. I don't have like I don't have a facility. I don't advertise. It's all word of mouth.
Yeah, but you still got a lot of guys that there's nobody, and I talk pitching with you quite a bit. There's nobody who knows pitching like you. The cerebral part of it, and I'm fascinated by pitching because it's not just power pitching, and there's nobody who knows more pitching than you. So a lot of guys should go to you if they have aspirations of being a high achiever as a pitcher on a collegiate level, let's say, because major league level is almost unattainable for 99% of the people.
Yeah, it's it's like 0.001% of the population will make it to the big leagues.
Sure. So the idea is get to college, get an education, try to get it paid for. That's the idea.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure. So Matt, thank you so much for being on. I
thank you for having
really
me.
appreciate you being on. We'll have you on again. Whenever I have some of the college coaches on, I got Carmen Lucera on. You know, your boy Johnny Qua, I got him on quite a bit. So we'll have you on again. So Matt, thanks so much, man.
Yeah,
really appreciate it. A lot of fun. All right, see you guys next time.
We all know there's an advantage to playing at home, to being the home team. At LGKG, we've been your home team personal injury attorneys for auto accident and workers' compensation cases for over 90 years. We know what works and how to win. We have all the credentials. At LGKG, we don't take every case. We handpick our clients so that we can give you the attention you deserve.